Okay, it is 6:30, 18:30. Let's stand and have the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Have a volunteer for the prayer.
I don't mind if you
All right.
Lord, thank you for tonight. We thank you for the opportunity to gather and exercise our freedoms here. And thank you for the faithfulness of those that are here serving, Lord. We just ask that you guide our thoughts, guide our actions, guide the decisions that we make here tonight so that they can glorify you. In your name we pray.
Amen. Very well said.
All right. Roll call. I'm here. Christian's here. Chris is here. Robert is here. Brenna is taking our notes, and Randy is absent. We do have a couple guests, Susan and Steve, and I'm sorry, what's your name again?
David Ruckman.
David Ruckman. All right. Would you like to present first, or
That's cool.
you can go right ahead if you want?
A couple of things that have come up recently that involved a suggestion that we might be able to do here at your park was in 2017 I created the Surveyor's Rendezvous, which we did at the George Rogers Clark Park down in Parksville. This all has to do with continuing education. And you can either go to a conference at Indianapolis or someplace like that, or maybe do something like that. And you know, we gave 12 hours a year that we have to do in continuing education, and so we did that in 2017, and it was really pretty cool. We kind of mixed some of the old stuff, with the new stuff, and our goal was to try to bring the Boy Scouts under the fold to come to that. And we did. We had 28 that earned a surveying merit badge. And one of those boys, who was an Eagle Scout, he has eventually become a registered surveyor. It was 8 years ago, and he has got his license. And so that was cool. Our average age of surveyors is 65. We're running out of them, so we're trying everything that we can do to raise money for scholarships. And this is something that they wanted to do again, so we formed a committee. It was suggested that, hey, why not the Borden Park? So I talked to Jack Copeland, who I see obviously at the courthouse or the county building quite often, and I mentioned it to him, and he thought that was pretty cool. And so what I'm here tonight for is to say that right now everything is leaning your way if we can do that, if we can have a rendezvous. This is for October 2026, maybe the second week in October. So this is a little cooler because we're going to be intense, and we might have 50 people or more in each class, that's taking a continuing education class. And then that went off really good. Mark Gardner, he's the county surveyor in Scott. He brought his great big teepee and dressed in all his leathers and stuff, and there was a lot of axe throwing and things of that nature and whatever. But most of it was about the history of surveying and trying to get younger people involved if we can. So they suggested that we do it again, and so we formed a committee, and here we are thinking that Borden is the perfect place to do it if we could bring that festival. Don't know how many people might come or might not, but it is a multi-state deal because a lot of people that live in Ohio or Kentucky or Illinois or Michigan also have Indiana license, and so they come to we have about 600 that show up every year in Indianapolis at the conference. So we could draw pretty good from that, and it's a Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday we did the Boy Scouts.
Okay.
Until noon, whatever. And it was well done, well received, had good accolades on all of it, went around, and they just wanted to do it again. So we're having a meeting. Our next surveyors meeting is August 21st. And so I called Rennie and asked her if I could once again come to the museum. But that's the night of the Borden Historical Society meeting there. So she said, well, can you just do it in the church? I said, well, yeah. I mean, that's a good facility. There's nothing wrong with that, and I don't think anybody's got any problem with that. It's a building that's sitting there that we could use, and it would bring us closer to looking and get everybody a chance to see your park. Not everybody has senior amphitheater and the facilities that you've already got in place for something like that. So we're gonna do our final vote then on the 21st of August for our next surveyors meeting. And that's the first thing. The second thing is that I have, for a long time, been very much interested in leading things for posterity, bigger than life possibly. I don't know if you're familiar with my Buffalo Water Park that I did in New Albany in celebration of the Buffalo Trace. It was in 2015, I was asked by the U.S. Forest Service to come to Bedford and, show them where the Buffalo Trail went through the U.S. Forest. And I told Angie Doe, I said, I can't do that. And she said, well, they said you'd help us. I said, oh, wait, I didn't say I would help, but there's not a person alive that can walk into a forest after 200 years of timbering and tell the difference between a logging road and maybe an ancient trail. Right? And they said, if you'll let me just follow the notes, because in 1805, the rectangular survey system was born, and they sent a surveyor out there, William Redner, to survey the Buffalo Trace as a boundary between the Native Americans and these oncoming settlers. And so we had notes from 1805 of his compass and chain survey, starting basically in New Albany, and then going all the way to the Vincennes, parcel and stuff. And so you gotta watch what you volunteer for. I wound up doing 5 of the 8 counties, showing them basically where it crossed, and looking for evidences. And in some places, like Petersburg, oh gosh, right down through the middle of town. And it's all in the notes. You go to the library, that's the Buffalo Trace, and it wound up getting paved. It's a road. Hancock Chapel out of at Winnings, it's the same path. Everybody thinks it's 150. It's not 150, it was a toll road they built because the Buffalo Trace was too steep. So they built 150 at a constant grade so they could haul goods. Oxen can only pull freight on a 10% grade and that's it. So, you gotta keep that down as flat, and 150 pretty much does that, and that became that. But anyway, that was a nice celebration. So I was also doing a survey for that hotel project on State Street in Daisy Lane, where the new hotel is up on top of the hill. And I said, hey, and the Buffalo Trace comes just about down Daisy Lane. It exits out Benford Road, if you know where Benford Road is. That is, from the notes. And there was actually multiple traces overall, I believe, because just what I found in all the notes, that we have, like today, trees get blown down and they'll cross over top of it, and then you gotta go around. So the one in William Rector survey in 1805 was the one I showed that, and so I told them if they would allow me to have a little space in there, I would carve 2 limestone buffalo in honor of the Buffalo Trace. And it took me a year for that, but it turned out pretty good, really. If you've seen that trace, it was pretty good. So I continued on that vein, trying to do different things, and what I brought this evening was a sculpture that's 12 inches tall. That's a bronze of what I call the first family that arrived here. None of us know what that first family looked like. None of us know what age they are, 100,000 years ago, 25,000 years ago, 15,000 years ago. Nobody really knows, because you can't date stone. It's impossible. But if the stone is embedded into a bison that they find, or a woolly mammoth, and they can date the woolly mammoth, which they did in Clovis, New Mexico, and they, come out with 13,500 years ago. Okay, so that's a pretty good time. But that was my attempt to display what the first family, that was meant to be 12 foot tall. That's a 1/12 deal, and that was one that we were going to try to promote of this first family. And but because of COVID, pretty much all that died. They just, it isn't going on. But in looking at Borden and everything that Borden has, and this agritourism area that we have, one thing that I've always wanted to do was maybe to create a celestial time clock. The greatest of those is Stonehenge in England, if you're familiar with Stonehenge. And it's that circle of stones. Gosh, people come, and it's all oriented to the summer solstice and the It's also got markers for the winter solstice and the equinoxes. And it just showed early people, because it was really spooky when you look out your door every morning and the sun is farther to the right. If you're looking east, it's just farther to the, it's just marching down, it's going to fall off. But then on December 21st, it starts its march back, and that was, a big celebration because they knew that they won't be able to grow crops again. So it's definitely an agritourism type of a possibility there, and we're an agritourism industry here basically with 900,000 people already coming to Starlight to enjoy the food, and now the spirits it's up there. But your park and that northern part of it, which I surveyed for the Wright family when they sold it to Cutters, and I brought some drawings. If I could pass some drawings out. Everybody can share. I don't know if I have enough. I think I did like 5 copies of this. And maybe you can share. That is actually an artist rendering of what Stonehenge, there might be 2 there. Yeah.
That's the latest one.
It's been here,
And
I was gonna say, sounds like it's been heading in and all the people.
And if you look at that, basically, these stones on the outer are about 8 to 9 feet tall. And the Saracen stones in the middle, this U-shaped deal, it actually, here's another artist rendering of it here, which it doesn't have to be done exactly like Stonehenge by any means, but that's 108-foot diameter. From this stone, this outer circle is 108. The inner blue stones, there was inner short blue stones, nobody knows what those were about. And they were about 89 feet across in diameter. And then you've got this U-shaped facility of these giant sarsen stones in the middle, which then, are lined up with stones out here, marker stones, and that's the summer solstice. And when it comes through there and it hits that center point, then, that marks that point. So it's kind of cool. My thought on this, quite frankly, was that if we did something like that, the first thing we'd have to do is raise it 3 or 4 feet in elevation. Let's pick that. If it's going to happen, let's pick that bad boy, because you're really creating a plaza. And we can do that with the same bricks that you've done with your pavers. I bought some going across the creek. There's a lot of people that do that. So that whole area could be that. It's pavers, and it's a meditation place. It's just it's a gathering place type of thing. And with the trail coming and all the people, I can see the lots of people getting off there, probably resting or whatever, and taking a siesta. And you can have benches, you can have other things. This outer top ring and these inner tops that were on there, it's possible that had a roof over it of wood, which was gone, right? It didn't last through the centuries. That's 7,000 years old. So at some point, rotted down, burnt down, or whatever could happen. But that's a possibility. You could put the top stones on. You can design it in a lot of different ways. But I like the idea basically of basically a plaza that could be, and in the center of it, I thought possibly there could be a monument such as that stands there in the middle, and that tip would be lined up with the rising of the sun on that day. It would come through those markers and hit the tip, and you just see it. There's all across the continent, basically. Maybe the greatest monument is the Angkor Wat, 400-acre, incredible stone works. And that very center, tallest pillar is exactly where the sun comes up over that. And everybody shows up that day in mass to watch that happen. And that sun just climb over top of it and go on. So it's not really mystical, but it may have been mystical to the early peoples.
Yeah.
We have a lot of other tools today, anything else, but it would be cool to create a type of a plaza type like that. That would be a gathering place, eating place, resting place. And that's why I'm here this evening, just to say that you have a perfect site for that. And I also did some drawings that might show what that would look like. this is part of my survey I did back in 1890 or something like that at the Wright Farm, which is now your possession. Did you guys share that? We can show it on the camera if you want. That camera is going, I take it. But that's basically, where it would sit in that field. I don't show your driveway going through, and I wasn't on there when I did the survey. And so I just took the liberty of imposing the possible location of that. And you can see those inner U-shaped circle of the Sarsen stones, those are the 12-footers. Now, in this particular case for Stonehenge, they're also buried 12 feet in the ground.
Right.
Whoa, that's a lot of stone. But what we can do is that this darker circle here, basically, could be a concrete ribbon, maybe 10, 12 feet wide. And we can do that in stamped concrete with all kinds of wildlife scenes in the stamped contract. And it could be a brown, not just old gray, concrete. But it could be something really cool in terms of all the type of animals: buffalo, bear, wolf, everything that's been here, elk, deer, everything else could be in that scene basically as you walk around this thing. And then the center would be more of the pavers, possibly, with people's names, and by that way it's a kind of a monument to them too. That's where I'm at on it at this particular point. I came by to see Brenda today to see if there was anything that you had master planned for this area. And since I don't think there's any master plan yet that shows what you want to do with that. So I was just suggesting that a plaza like that could be something that certainly I think that people on their bicycles would, and we ride bikes, my wife and I do too, that would be a great place to, you're riding all the way from New Albany or whatever, and it's time to get off. And this could be, you call that a place basically that is a launching point.
Right, like a trailhead type
Trailhead.
area,
Trailhead,
yeah.
A place where people could stop, park the cars, and there would be other things that are, maybe of interest or whatever could be in that trailhead that you put up, sculptures and stuff like that might, tell and describe your area better. But that's why I'm here this evening, was just to introduce this. There's no need to even, plenty of time to discuss it. But I thought I would bring it by and just share that you've actually got the perfect place because there's no trees. You can just see it's 1,600 foot long, that piece, and you can put here, and it's just, you can see that eastern horizon so fine. And it's gonna have that. It's the perfect place to launch that. And I like raising it takes about 3 to 4 feet to get it up to the level of the trail at that point, so I could see, build it up in a big earthen circle, and everything else, and in the plaza, in the middle of it, it would slope down, but yet people, it'd be grass all on the outside, it'd just be sloping and pretty easy walking, whatever, for people to do and share. So that, I have no idea the cost yet. It would all be something that we could try and apply for a grant. And if we can do that and get a grant, then I think it would be a really cool thing to do. But that's up to the board, what the board wants at your park. I'd be glad to take any questions or whatever that you might have on it.
Do you have a rough guess as to what that would cost?
Well, if you decide to put the top stones on, that's more. If you decide to cap them, I like that. That's what it was when it was complete, before people stole stones, and Stonehenge is only halfway there now. A lot of the stones are gone, and those were megaliths. How they moved over, I don't know. But what I would do is just make them flat on the bottom and pin them into that concrete ring. And the concrete ring could maybe be 12, 15 foot wide. These stones would be basically 2 foot by 5 foot. And then we could just pin them in the concrete, and they're not going anywhere.
Right.
Everything else. We don't have to go 5 feet in the ground or bury them in concrete. We can just bring and have Paget just set them, and they would go pretty fast. We have, fortunately, in our area, finest stone on the planet, which is Bedford Empire Ledge. It's now called the Empire Ledge because it's such a fine stone that the Empire State Building bought so much of it, they've recalled that quarry, the Empire Ledge Quarry. It's also on the White House and all the buildings in D.C. and just all over the eastern, all great buildings are built out of our stone, and so we can buy those. And if you've ever been up to that quarry, they have about 200 acres of field, and it's just all these stones are laying out there, big ones, maybe 5 foot at the base, 12 foot long, and they're just certain size stones, that they've already quarried out, that they'll recut for you, or you can, like in the case of Lucy Higgs Nichols, which is a sculpture I did for a runaway slave girl who all these most important person, because she was the nurse for the infantry. She was African descent, of course, and a slave, and she ran away and got with the New Army infantry, stayed with them for 4 years all the way to Gettysburg, and then came home to them. And that was almost the end of the story, but in 1885, they sued the federal government for a pension, and they all show up, and in this photo of all of them, here's a little short black woman. All these old gray-bearded white men, and they said, whoa, we ain't giving any pensions to minorities. You can forget that. But the Surgeon General for New Albany said, he knew this was going to happen, so he sent a letter with Lucy, and he said, during times of war, the Surgeon General picks his staff. Lucy's my nurse. She gets a pension. And that broke the mold for minorities to join the Army and receive money. So suddenly she's now, like the second floor of the Carnegie Building down in Spring Street, is all of her story. And I carved a 10-foot tall image of her coming out of a stone. They wanted her coming out of a stone like she's escaping slavery. And we've gotten, that's on the National Register also. And so is my Buffalo Art Park, that's on the National Register. This probably would wind up possibly on the National Register and draw, it's a tourism thing.
Right.
It makes you very different than maybe any other community. And I kind of tentatively said it was an Indiana Stonehenge because of our starlight instead of Stonehenge maybe. But it could be any name you want on it, whatever. But it is a celestial time clock. It is a functional thing. It's not just some stacking some stone. It actually has a function. I like functionality personally. So that's the reason I'm here to say you just got the perfect place. I think it'd be cool if possibly we could do that. My next step would be that if we decide on exactly what we want it to look like, then we would, price it out and then see what we need to apply to Eli Lilly, to the Shine Foundation, to the Cook Group, to different groups that we might raise money from. And if we can get a grant for it, then we would set about doing all of that. That's all.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that Empire Quarry's got that, I've seen many pictures. I actually drove by it once when I was working with DNR. That there's a big cemetery up on the hillside with all those lakes and everything around it. It's a really interesting area.
Yeah, that stone is so pure. I do stone carvings and stuff like that. That carves like butter. It's not butter. Your chisel never gets stopped because it doesn't run into any fossils. That was all pure dust. So the belly of that ancient ocean 850 million years ago didn't have any fossils down in there, all of them up on the seashores. This must have been a belly. And it was all just dust that built that up, and then eventually tectonic plates raised those plates up to the surface. European immigrants saw that, had just about had a fit over this pure stone, and it's,
Interesting.
So we have a great source for stone that is just pure as could be, and it would be kind of an Indiana thing in a way. We would use that stone, and also possibly there's a quarry in Lagodi which is a colored sandstone. It's oranges and different colors. We might use 4 of those to mark the north, south, east, and west. just different, something, there's some different variations. It could be done, it doesn't have to stay the same as it. The smaller stones in here, which are called the blue stones, are only like 6 foot tall. No one knows what they were about, but they're there also. Maybe they were the originals and then eventually they widened it and made it bigger. Don't know that. Because you
No eyewitness testimony?
none that's come forward so far. But it's just a kind of a fascinating concept to me, of creating something that might stand the test of time, passed down through the generations and things. And it could morph into whatever anybody else has got any ideas about doing things, that could go in along with that. It's something that's a work in progress, is what I would call it, if we decided to do it. You can, I was gonna put that possibly in the very center by putting a platform that's another maybe 2 feet of limestone, and then set that 12 foot right on that, which honors his first family that came here.
Yeah.
You can pull that around, it's bronze, it's obviously hollow, but it still weighs a bunch, you pick that up. You share that, but it's just like kind of an ancient spirit point type thing. And that can be scaled up to the 12 foot tall, which the reason that you want to do it tall is that anytime you do public art, it's viewed at a distance. So you can't do a 6 foot man, you've got to do an 8 foot man. And you won't know he's 8 foot until you walk right up next to him. Before that, he looked just like a normals could be out there. So you want to do a gigantic scale is what we call it. And it's something that is going to be viewed, it would be viewed from a distance. So
Now, did you carve that?
I created that in clay. That starts out in clay. I do it in clay, and then we make molds of that. And then we use the lost wax method, which is about 4,000 years old. And they basically take that clay and make a form, which we did all around it. And then you tear it apart, you cut the form off, and then you encase it in rubber, and you cast it in plaster on the outside, and then you've got a hollow image. And you dump a wax in that, believe it or not. You make a wax. Take it apart again, and you stick this wax into a kind of like a cornmeal mix, and it creates another coating around that wax. And then you pour your molten bronze in it, and the wax just melts away. It disappears, and all that's left is as thick as you want to make the bronze, but you don't want to make that real thick, right? It's too heavy.
Right.
That is maybe 1/8 to 1/4 or so, maybe thicker up to the point, obviously. But that's how that comes to be.
And you would make that out of bronze too, the statue, or possibly, or you were thinking that?
Well, it would gleam
Yeah.
when that
Sun,
sun hit that. If we keep that maybe shined up a little bit, that it would just really show out. If you look up Angkor Wat there in Cambodia, that monument, there's a bunch of films that show the sun coming right up over that highest peak of that monument. It's a celebration of rebirth, is what that does basically. Let you know that things are going normal when it comes back up. The sun starts coming back, after the winter solstice. So that has stood the test of time. It's one of our most enduring monuments. These circles of stones are everywhere. And now they're found, in South America, in the Brazil rainforest. The same circles. It's crazy. But that's for ancient peoples venerated. I think there's all the celebrations. No one knows exactly why they were built or what they were used for. But this one, I think, it'd just be a social gathering place overall, if it was to come about. But something for you guys to think about.
I think it'd be a great use. We keep talking about what's the usage of that 14 acres that's across the road there. And of course, to pair it in with the South Monon Trail, that visitors can come off and enjoy it. Obviously we'd have to plan some parking and stuff around it, which we plan additional parking anyway. I think that it's a great fit for what we try to look for. It's not obviously specifically in our 5-year park plan or in our town strategic plan, but I think it's got a lot of merit, I believe. That's my opinion.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I grew up in Washington County originally, and then we migrated to New Albany, and 3 years ago we came back. And then I've built a place here. I just gave Brenda a tour. And you guys are welcome to come. I have a circle of stones on my property also, already. And I carve them individually into faces. You're welcome to drive in. It's right there just east of the church. You can come back into the property and drive. We have a loop, a road all the way around. You can see the different, probably maybe 40s or so sculptures there in stone. Different ones.
Really cool.
Not as big as this.
Not as big.
Yeah.
So we're saying across it, it's 108 feet?
108-foot diameter is what Stonehenge is,
Yeah.
from outside to the outer. And those are about 8 or 9 feet tall. And then when you put that other ledge on top, which completes the circle, makes them a little taller. And then the sarsen stones, the big ones in the middle, they're like 12 feet, plus this cap on top, so it makes them about 14 and whatever.
I think it's cool.
Do
It
you
is.
have contacts and experience with the granting organizations that you were discussing? Have you been involved with that?
I was able to get, like when I was asked to do Lucy Hicks Nichols, I contacted Sam Shine, a good friend of mine, and he was still alive at that time, and he immediately said yes to that, and I did that. So I think that there's, if you've got a project that sings, other people hear that, and kind of they want to be part of it, possibly. So I think we've got the Lily, and you've got Cook, what's the guy up at Madison and BB, that's the propane guy? Can't remember, that's a big foundation also.
Oh,
Open foundation. So there's a lot of places to possibly draw that, you know, and be able to gather that in. And I'm working with JTL and Prime now, because Prime just bought JTL, but they are doing this new park for the Clarksville never had a downtown, and they're now building one. They bought all the property south of Colgate, and they've got about 20 acres, and they're making a whole new town center there. But they wanted a monument for the two brothers, George Rogers Clark and William Clark. George Rogers Clark doubled the size of the United States by capturing the Northwest Territory. William Clark, 17 years later, marched all the way to the Pacific Ocean. Now we're sea to shining sea. So they want to do a monument there. So I've done some sketches and partnered with Prime and JTL on that. And Prime's got a group of landscape architects. It's one of their other companies they had bought. It's in Florida, and really great people. I worked with them. They could have some good input. Now, they didn't know anything about George Rogers Clark and William Clark and everything else, but they sure got on board really quick. And they came up with a proposal to do a 75-foot by 400-foot park. And they come up with $2.3 million to do that. So they've got to raise the money to do it. I don't know that that's going to be the level of this, you know, whatever, but we will find out. You know, if it comes that you want to put out some feelers and some bids for that to see what it is and see how much money might have to be raised to make it happen.
Very good.
Would it have to be this exact location, or could it be moved a little bit if needed, or does it need to be there for?
No, it doesn't need to be there.
Okay.
I liked there because that's basically where the people can get off the trail right there.
Right, where.
And they
right
could
where
come
it goes
down into the park.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if we were basically the same level, it would be just pretty cool.
Right, that's where it goes
So
over.
that's the reason I marked that on
Yeah.
there, to show you that's
Yeah.
basic. But
Definitely.
yes, you could slide that east, you could slide it west, you could, you know, I like it probably about where I got it actually.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of central and it's right there where that DSM Markman place might be where they get off. And we're already seeing bicyclists on the trail.
We are.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
They're coming. And it's not even complete from New Albany yet. That's a mess. They've not even touched that. And you guys are just way ahead of the game, and you're already getting people come in, and that's part of our tourism dollar that might come into the community for the different businesses like the coffee shop and other places that we've already got. So I think Borden is poised and just in the right place. and depending on what you do with this asset, that could enhance that. So I see it anyway. But I leave all these drawings and everything with you. You're welcome to discuss it, study it, whatever. There's no rush or anything. It's just a thought at this particular time. And again, this is just an artist rendering of the whole thing as it looks basically what it is all the way around.
You need action from us on the surveyor.
I will after.
Gathering.
Brenda has already
Yeah.
said that looked good for it, and that's, your last concert is the third week in September, so it's kind of open, and it would be a kind of a fall festival thing.
Yeah.
And how big it got and where it goes, that would be, but we'll see. But it'll be pretty well advertised, and we can get that. But yeah, you don't have to do anything at this time, but you'll have to have a full vote on the 21st to say that Borden has chosen the site, albeit if you guys are still on board with that.
You said this was 26 next year?
Yeah,
Next
yeah,
October.
yeah, we're too late this year to try
Right.
to do that. And so it'll be for the 26th, following 26 is when we're planning on that next rendezvous.
I was contacted by a guy about doing a napping festival. He had a group and they were trying to put together something. I said, well, get your plan together and let me know. Because they're all working with the Stones and napping and doing all that stuff, so.
Mat napping,
Yeah,
sure.
And I don't know if that's-
Invite them along.
yeah, if that
We
would.
could invite them at that time.
If that would accompany what you're doing, I can get you in contact with him.
No, I love those guys. They make fantastic stuff.
Right. Usually leave a mess, but it was funny the first year that we let them, remember the Strawberry Festival? They come over and they were over there with Fallsy, Ohio, and they did some napping. They just left it
yes.
everywhere. They just left all their stone chips and everything all over in the grass. And it was funny. It was comical, but it was a really neat showing of what they could do. But yeah, I thought that may complement what you're accomplishing there. And if it's interesting, then I can get a contact for you.
Yeah, that's what's cool about proposing something and then everybody else brings something else. That's what I'm talking about. And maybe it makes it even better and better. And it's such a large venue. There's plenty of room. Now we would have certain tents, and then only people in the tents would be the people that signed up for the continuation generally. But the public could stand and listen if they wanted to, to whatever
Well,
discussion.
maybe there could be a more public-facing component to it. I mean, if that doesn't cramp what you guys are doing. Because I think by already now at a point where the Strawberry Festival has gotten, I know we've had ups and downs with Borden Valley Days over the years, but maybe this is time for us to revisit having a fall component. We bookend our seasons. I mean, that's our two big times, and so maybe this would be a good jumping off point to do that with.
No, we hope that works.
Yeah, and we could.
It's a great facility. It's wide open. It's easy to get here. It's easy to find parking. And the food service people can come, that kind of thing. Or they can go up in the evenings. And also music, if we could possibly invite anybody that could come and perform after the thing, after like 5 o'clock and all those classes are over or something. Maybe somebody's firing up and we're all just enjoying music too. So the music people could be part of that too.
Yeah.
Is there a usual weekend, like the second weekend, third weekend of October that you usually do it?
No, we did it in September last time, but quite honestly, it was like 3rd or 4th week of September last time. It was still a little hot. Moving it into more of a middle of October, I think, gives us a better
We
chance
have to avoid
to have
harvest,
some,
for sure.
because you're intense. It's kind of, we put a big fans up and
Right.
we did all sorts of things to try to cool it, and it went off really well. We had people come out of Texas. We had a lot of show for it, and it was well received. So that could be expounded into something larger, possibly. And
How much space would your group need for their need? Like, could we do that on the north lawn and maybe keep festival type atmosphere on the south side of the park?
I think
Or would you
there's
need
that.
the whole thing?
No, wouldn't necessarily need the whole thing. We would have 3 tents. The tents would be probably 40 by 60 or something like that. And we basically have sessions in those, you know, that last about 3 hours. One of the guest speakers that came to the Borden Historical Society about 6 months ago was Drew Wright. You guys know Drew Wright? And he gave a talk, and I attended, on W.W. Borden. And it was really great. Drew's incredible. Maybe Drew could come again and give a talk on W.W. Borden, which was pretty fascinating about the life of the train. See, there was no cars. Everything was trains. And it's hard to get that in your mind that they couldn't just jump in. No, they rode the train everywhere they went.
Yeah.
You know, and everything was, every community that had a train was a great community. It was up and coming because you could load stuff and unload stuff and whatever. And
Does he have any multimedia components to his presentation?
He basically, his great grandpa, you know, the house that's the 2-story before you get to Wright Implements, there's this 2-story brick sitting there. That was his great grandpa's house.
Oh, okay.
And he was a carpenter for W.W. Borden.
Okay.
And so W.W. Borden would send him all these letters and they kept them. And what a fascinating part about it is that at the end of every letter, this was a letter from Mr. Borden that got to, and I can't remember his name, brain fart sometime, but, and he had all these letters, but at the end of every letter, it said, "Don't forget the potatoes." Well, no grocery stores.
Yeah.
You know, so he's coming in town, riding the train, don't forget the potatoes.
It's good life advice.
That's good stuff.
It was pretty cool. It was kind of humorous.
I'm just, the reason I ask is I'm wondering if that might even be something we could have in the amphitheater and have some audio video stuff to go with it to really like tie that, you know.
I
That
think
sounds
it's,
sky's the limit, I'd
it's
say.
unlimited what you might want to make it. If basically if you just make it into a fall festival
Right.
overall,
Yeah,
you know,
but
then
really
then it's-
lean into that historical component.
Yeah, we could just have one little corner-like place, you know, we don't really need the amphitheater, we're gonna be in tents pretty much.
Mhm.
But maybe we use the amphitheater just to announce things or talk about stuff or whatever a little bit, but,
They all know I think big.
I understand where you're coming from. I've got no work with you.
My blessing and curse.
Yes, it is. But it's all about history and the celebration of it and passing that on to the next generation as much as we can.
That sounds neat.
I'll get out of here and let you guys go on with your meeting and stuff.
Thanks for coming by.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, David.
Good
Thanks.
stuff.
Thanks
Thank
for
you very
listening.
much.
It's fun to contemplate.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you as always. I don't know if you met
Christian Gleason.
Christian Gleason
Yes, sir.
And Chris Burnett.
Chris Burnett, heard you.
We'll meet again.
Yes, sir. Shake you guys' hand.
Brian.
Brian, it was good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's the
There.
I had that.
You might need that.
Yeah, this I got in Alaska. It's the best hat ever. I got that in Alaska.
Can get you through some storms.
It has. Thanks.
Good to see you.
Workshop, which is a huge building, we'll have a house there in the pond. It's a pretty neat setup.
Yeah, dripped on, splashed on you?
Save your shower.
That's all I was trying to do.
Get lined up straight.
Okay, we can round back to that in a minute. Do you have financial
Yeah,
information
it's
for
the
us?
same as last month, nothing
Okay.
has been spent out of it.
You guys got the minutes from last month, it's the same information right there.
Anybody need a minute?
Okay.
And then it should be down there.
Any changes or comments on the minutes from last month?
Looks good. I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes, approve the minutes.
I have a motion to accept the minutes. Do I have a second?
second that.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Back on track here. Old business, we got kind of two different things here. Well, they're similar between the minutes and what I had written down. Is there any? I know that mural thing doesn't really have a great deal to do with the park,
Right.
but it is a project that associates with the, it all kind of comes together between the town and the park and the historical society. It's all kind of one project here. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with that design and mural and stuff they're talking about down there, but is there any? Do you have any proposals or changes that you would like to see?
Where are we currently with it?
They're still designing the,
Yeah, so
the
we-
picture. So
They had sent out like a questionnaire thing, so Brian and I and a couple people from the Historical Society, we sent in comments, and one of them that Julie had mentioned, because we'd all had mentioned it really, that we didn't want it to look like Pekin's mural, but maybe, instead of where the train was, have like a picture, or have a drawing of the old Borden Institute, then have the train and strawberries off to one side, and then something off to the other side. So, but they're still working on that drawing to send back to us. So, we should
It's-
hear something within the next couple of weeks.
and it's all one drawing.
Yes, it's all one
Okay.
drawing,
All right.
yes.
Okay. I don't know. Steve? Did you meet with Lamb and EAC down there?
Yes, I did.
Have you heard anything back from them?
Well, one. I did get a quote back from EAC, and EAC's quote was $24,200, and that was basically setting 2 new posts and extending netting from the current backstop, starting up from it, putting another post in the dugout, and going up 35 feet. And so it'll be netted all the way down, both sides.
Mhm.
So 24.2. So I haven't got it back from Lambs yet. They all said it'd take them about 2 weeks to get the quotes and get everything done. I haven't heard back from them. I'm hoping this week, because I met with them. This will now be the second week because I was a week apart meeting
Right.
with them. This will be the second week I met with Lambs, so I should hopefully hear something this week.
Okay.
They're both also quoting the shade cell for the front of the amphitheater, but I did not get that from AC. He just said he's working with a vendor who's trying to understand the project and give them a good idea of what they need to do.
All right. I know Lamb just started down at Clarksville Little League today, redoing the nets down there for us on our Little League park. So that'll give them a good idea. Well, they've repaired them before, so they know what they're doing. So
Well, that's what he
But
said.
that'll
He said
give
he
them
did the
a-
same thing for
yeah.
Clarksville Parks. He said
yeah, well, he's redoing them now. He's putting a new cable in them. The net's still all right, but we had to replace the cables in them. So he's been down there working on one all day. So
yeah, the detail, and I can send this to you, is install 2 sections of netting, 20 foot tall by 64 feet wide. And so that was basically the top of the backstop was 12. And so it'd start actually below that, or actually just a couple feet below that, which actually fills in the void in top of the dugout, because there's a little open
Right.
air space. So that would complete that space
right.
and provide that, and it goes up to about 35 feet, I think he says, is the way I
Wow.
guess.
I think that's about what ours is in Clarksville,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
So 24,
I know it's not over 40, so
Yeah.
I have a question on the shade for the amphitheater. Should we ask like John McCoy, since he's the one that designed that all, what he thinks would maybe be the best option? If it's that, or if it's a retractable thing, or,
I don't think it hurts to ask. Hopefully, he don't charge us for an opinion.
no, I think I'd be calling and just asking.
Because everything he does has got a big dollar sign behind it.
Well, yeah. But I mean,
That's
I
his
just-
job. I know he does that. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, it hurts not to ask
yeah,
at
just
all.
to see what his idea would be, I don't know.
All right. And the sensory walk, is that, do we have all that stuff or just the music panels,
We
right?
just have the music right now. We have not
Okay.
purchased the other sensory panels. This is just the musical instruments. And David quoted us 2,500 to 3,250. He's on vacation, so he said,
Okay.
it would- by the looks of him, he's sending him all the pictures of the install stuff.
That's the complete project,
Yes,
right?
that's-
Putting it together, getting it
Yes.
installed, everything.
Yes, him doing it all, and us not having to put that thing together.
I haven't looked at the instruction, but from everybody that's looked at it has said that we want somebody else to put this thing together.
Well, I like a challenge, but I don't think I like this challenge, so,
It's such a specialty. I think it's,
Mhm.
and that's what he does for a living. And
yeah.
I think the quote is really fair.
Yeah, because the playground, where we bought the playground equipment was like half the price. Like they
Mhm.
wanted 6,500,
Hmm.
which is like, phew. No.
So is this, and this would be from the park board, or is this something that a
I
joint
mean, I have
project?
not asked because we haven't even had a friends meeting, that's next
Right,
week.
right.
So, but I mean, if we want the friends to pay for, you know, maybe the sensory panels or whatever, I don't know if the park board pays for installation. I mean, I think the panels are gonna be a lot easier because that's more like what the sign is down there, the 6x6 or whatever, and then you just screw them in.
Mhm.
And that's it, you know how that is.
Mhm.
But this is like 6 post holes on one side, 4 on the other, and you gotta angle it right and get the drums, you know, so.
I think we could do it for two.
Chris,
$2,000
Chris
on-
just volunteered to do
You
it.
did?
For two, let's put $2,000 on a weekend, me and Christian will get it.
Okay, well, I'll bring you the bucket of bolts and you can have it.
I was looking at those instructions too, and I'm like, this is.
Oh, we gotta see the ones I sent him because that was even,
Right.
that was even compact. This is like 12 pages of, you know, yeah, it's not like putting together a song, one of those dressers, yeah, yeah.
IKEA
I
playground.
like a challenge, but not this challenge, no.
So how do we want to move forward with this? What do you guys think?
What was the grand total?
It's like between 2,500 to 3,250.
Depending on what?
Well, he was on vacation and he
Oh,
was
okay.
just trying to get, because I told him I met with the park board today, and so he was just giving us a rough estimate. It wouldn't be no less than that and no more than that.
He's like, I'm on the beach with you all. Here's the
Yeah, he probably
Here's some
is.
numbers.
He's probably in cooler weather.
Are we going to ask friends for the
Have
other
we,
stuff?
have we already paid for the, how was we breaking up
Yeah,
the
so
cost of the
The
equipment?
wood car last year gave 3,000 to
Gave
the
3.
park board, and so
Right.
the park board was paying 3,000 of the $13,112.40. The park board, or the friends of the board, paid $10,122.40.
Okay,
So,
That's
So then that's all
equipment. but not
yes.
the install.
so that didn't come out of the park board. Park board has not paid anything, so wood car and the friends have paid it off. But
What's
well,
the
the
cost?
friends got a donation from Starlight.
right.
So
What's the cost for the other panels if we slash swing?
it was like a $27,000 project in
Yeah, that
whole.
was about half of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean,
Well, when could we get an exact number from him?
Well, he's supposed to be back from vacation this coming weekend. I think it was a 2-week thing.
When could he begin / complete the project?
I don't know, I didn't wanna push him because he was on vacation. That, we were getting that much information, I figured, he's on
He
vacation.
should have answered.
I know,
shouldn't
You
answer his
opened that
phone.
door, I'm gonna.
yeah.
That's strong on
I would've done it for $3,000.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad price, and I
No.
mean,
I was just
especially,
wondering if we should go ahead and approve it now, or wait till we hear from him and get more firm data, or, that's kinda where I'm going.
well, the only thing is if he says I can do it in 2 weeks, you guys don't have a meeting for another 2 weeks. So,
I would-
Just to confirm, is he saying that it will be between those two numbers?
Yes.
He probably won't know
No,
until it's
no.
done.
Yes.
I mean, we
I'm
could put a
assuming
max
we'll know
of
till it's
3,200 and
done.
whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just approve the hire, but
Yeah.
it's up to.
he's not gonna do you wrong, I can tell you.
No.
So,
Yeah.
I don't, who is it?
It's my cousin's husband, David Churchman.
He installs playgrounds throughout many
Throughout the
states.
United
That's
States,
what he
yeah.
does for a living.
It's like
It's just-
RTO playground,
RTA.
RTA, yeah.
RTA, yeah.
He's just a good guy, he's not gonna, you know what I mean, he's not gonna do it. He's the guy that, if he could charge you the $3,250, he wouldn't, he'd still
Think
just wanna
I've-
charge you the 2,600 or 20, you know what I mean, he's that
Yeah.
guy. I don't think he
Now
would
that you
ever. I
said
know he
that,
would
I
never
think
take
I've met with him
advantage of it,
before
Especially this type
for
of
something in
organization.
Clarksville.
He's yeah, 'cause he's, yeah.
Cool.
Right.
But I don't know how the conversation went,
RTA.
that, I would assume maybe he means he
Well,
won't
I have not-
tell you till he's done.
I called him, but he goes, hey, I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
Send me a text. And I
Yeah.
said, okay,
Yeah.
so.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve up to 3,200 to get that done. We got the stuff, let's get it done, let's get that stuff in there. It's gonna be cool enough to actually enjoy it here before too long.
Yeah.
So up to 3,250?
Was
Was
that?
that, yeah, whatever his
Yeah.
upper number was,
Yeah.
yeah. Have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Alright.
Alright.
All right. Okay. These entry gates that I thought we was gonna put in last weekend.
I thought you were busy though, because you said that.
I was
one-
planning on doing that. That's what I was
Okay,
planning on.
Okay, okay.
So
Well,
this Saturday will,
Yeah, I was just saying that.
this Saturday will definitely be better weather than it was last Saturday.
okay.
If there's people that wanna do it this Saturday, I can.
Okay, well, I won't be here, Dan won't be here.
Dan
Steve
won't be here.
Steve won't be here.
Yeah. Steve's taking all
Terry
the old
Wheeler won't.
folks.
Yeah, right.
That's we're the ones going on the gamble.
Okay. Terry won't be here.
No. No.
You just want to throw your name in on it.
No,
That's
I'm
it.
going to, yeah.
Uh,
We go to Brownstown.
do you know if Dan got the post?
No, he has not got the post yet. He was
Okay.
gonna get it this week.
Around.
Okay.
Is that a standard 6x6 or 4x4
Yeah.
or something?
Not really, no.
I think they were gonna do a 6x6.
Yeah, it was 6x6.
Now the gates are
Which
here.
is weird.
Yeah.
So we just gotta pick up the 6x6 post and the foam stuff.
Do you have the foam stuff?
No, I did not, because remember I forgot to hit enter.
Well, I thought you did hit
I was
enter
gonna
after
say, I
that.
thought
No, because we didn't order the, I told Dan that we just pick them, Dan and I
Oh, just
decided
pick
to
'em
just
up.
pick them up.
Yeah.
Because there was no sense, because I wasn't gonna order it for the playground.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then who's that leave to drive the tractor with the postal digger on it? Les was willing to do it last Saturday because him and I met at the diner and he was like, "We're gonna go put the post in." I was like, "Well, just me and you." We can, but it didn't happen. So
Didn't have post.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we.
How's the following Saturday look? This Saturday.
I don't think I can the following
The
Saturday.
ninth?
Oh, is that the night? Maybe.
Tonight.
I don't know. My master schedule's on the phone, not with me.
Yeah, I can the 16th. which is that's 2 weeks from now.
I think I could probably help on the 16th if we.
Good too so far.
Better for me to actually just plan it and schedule it.
Yeah, me too.
And not something else won't
But
crowd
that's why there's something written on every day in my calendar.
Exactly. You wanna try to meet 8 or 9 or something on Saturday, on the 16th?
I'm good with that. If you think we can get
Yeah, we can get the
people
supplies here.
people there and supplies and
Yeah, we've already got the green gates. They're ready.
yeah.
Maybe 8 in case we get a second heat wave.
Sure it won't be.
So August 16th at what time?
8,
8 a.m.? Okay,
unless someone else do it.
I'll make sure everything's there.
Did you say, oh, you meant like an earlier day?
No,
Thought you mean an earlier time.
no, I did. 7,
I'll be it.
I'll be up.
I will not be at.
Oh, yes, you will, because we will call you.
We know where you live.
Listen, I already have an alarm clock and it's a little fiery redhead.
Yeah.
Okay,
Gate post.
it's in stone.
You think we can knock that out in 3 or 4 hours?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I thought so.
Because all we can really do is put the posts in.
Yeah.
I can install the gates if I
Well,
have
if we
to
get the
later.
tractor there, that's not
Yeah,
bad.
I mean,
That shouldn't be
yeah,
much
it shouldn't be
problem.
very long.
And you're using phone stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's right.
Telephone
How do the
poles,
gates
so
have
it's
to
easy.
attach? They just got a big lag
That's
bolt
easy.
or something?
So
To the
well,
post.
I don't know. I mean, they extend so they can go end to end with something, or they can overlap, and
Just
so yeah, we can come up with something
do
for that.
something,
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, each one's 5 foot to 11 and a half foot.
yeah.
You're
We'll just
foaming
say-
in the ground, is that what you're talking about, the foam
Yeah.
instead of concrete?
Yeah.
in?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And how long do that set? I don't know anything about that.
Within 10 minutes it's
Yeah,
set.
not. I mean, well, no, it ain't set in 10 minutes, but
Well,
it expands within 10 minutes.
yeah.
How long do you start hanging something on it though without?
I wouldn't do it that day.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't take very long. I don't know how long, you know,
It'd be
before.
better than trying to put some forces against it.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Somebody used on our deck.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, they use it for telephone
Yeah.
poles, they use it for everything. But
Yeah.
I would say where there's something like a deck where it's gonna be braced, you can't beat it. I mean,
No.
it's, so,
Yeah, I'm good 16, so I can do it.
Cool. So we'll have many hands.
I was gonna
make
say,
light work.
I don't think, cause it's just 4 posts. Well, it's not gonna take very long if we got people there.
Cool.
Okay. Cool. What's in our old business from this other page? Anything? We haven't already. Alternatives is,
Oh, the Ready 1.0 funding.
yeah.
So I talked to River Hills today and they're still talking back and forth with the IEDC.
Okay.
I
On
gave
the,
them
on
all
the
the
rest,
information.
on the restroom
Yeah, on
project?
the restroom project, so
Okay.
that's all we got right now. But as soon as I hear anything, everyone will know.
Okay. Like he said earlier, the Historical Society's having a euchre tournament on the 21st at the museum. Guess let everybody know about that. And the next fish fry will be August 15th. Be the night before we meet down there at the park. So, who's playing here?
That is Kirby Staley in
Kirby
the Dash.
Stanley, that's right.
And it's the night of worship with a foam party for all the back to school dash. So,
It's gonna be crazy.
I thought that was the first.
no,
Bubble Queen
they
is
moved it
major
because,
into-
well,
Yes.
uh,
We
rain and
changed.
passing and everything, it moved all over. Yeah,
Put it
so
all
we're
together.
doing it that night,
Okay.
so.
I did not know that. I need to make a note. Well, my boss got pissed at me for letting you guys know that we was doing that, and Denise calling and getting that bubble truck. That
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, Well, we have the deposit for the 15th, so it's already taken care of.
Well, we bought a bubble machine to do it ourselves, since we couldn't get the truck on the first, this Friday.
Well, then you'll have, that's right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, we're gonna have bubbles for everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good investment. Get you both.
Get to them.
Even better.
Get it set.
Yeah. It looks like it should be pretty fun. I have no clue what Denise is doing, but
Do you
I don't
know?
know either. She just
It's-
told me what.
boxes
Yes.
come in the mail and it's stuff, and I'm like, I don't even wanna know. I don't wanna know. She's like, well, it's a wig.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Yes,
So
you're wearing
yeah,
it.
You're wearing it. All right. So, new business, this, let's see, new business. Has there been any discussion on repairing the creek bank down there?
Well, I was gonna, Billy and Micah was wanting to wait until after the melon season,
Yeah,
because
okay.
they're busy and then
Right.
raining and everything, so, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Do we need basketball netting down there? Do you do?
Yeah, we do. I looked at it the other day. It's pretty rough.
You do need a,
Yeah, we will need to get some.
Do we,
I was just gonna make a motion that we, Kratz, you said Kratz?
I get ours from Kratz, but I don't know, were we having a, do we
well,
have
we
any?
have, we still have funding that we saved back for maintenance for the,
Right,
for the friends.
but if I
so.
like went and picked it up, would I,
You can just give me the receipt and,
you get
yeah,
reimbursed?
I can reimburse you, yeah.
Okay,
Do we even need a motion on that, or is that? since
No,
it's
that's the
already set
friends,
up?
it's coming out of the friends money,
Okay.
so,
okay,
yeah.
well, I can pick nets up, but they're,
How much are they?
they're $70 a pair for the
Okay.
ones I usually get.
Okay,
They're outdoor, nylon and cotton, it's like two-tone. So the loops are tougher than the bottom part
Right.
is, so they usually last a year with
Okay.
people hanging on them and stuff. That's pretty good. How many do we need?
I don't know,
2 pair, right?
yeah.
There's 4 rolls, right? Okay.
You get a discount if you buy any more?
No.
I'm sure not.
No.
Yeah. I was saying, I wouldn't
No.
think so, but if so, then maybe
I was like,
stash a
yeah,
few
we could go,
back.
yeah, that's what.
Somebody
Stash
have
a
to
few back.
remember what closet we put them in.
Right. Yeah.
It'd be all that anyways, to put up for the foul poles.
Cut the basketball nets and made them.
Okay, I need to.
All you gotta do is wash them up a little bit.
That'd be fine.
Sorry, I gotta add that to my to-do list because I'll forget.
You know, one thing that was talked about, and nothing ever happened from it, no, we're talking about basketball court, was there is apparently wiring in the center of that. And we talked about, we wanna go ahead and get that up, because that's the only gripe from the people playing is there's too many shadows from the current lighting. And that would shore up lights, it would better light the court. And I don't know what that costs, but I think it's something we need to redress. I mean, that was something Les was pushing for a year and a half ago,
Yeah.
but I think it would make sense to
You mean
consider.
the wiring in the ground already?
It's already under the
underneath
pavement.
of it?
Yeah, Les, they put it there when they did it, thinking that'd be future, they do it. So it's a matter of going out there and get your metal detector and chipping away that asphalt, cutting it back, putting that center
Put a
post
post
on.
right in the middle.
And then it would be one of those double branches
Oh,
go
yeah,
this
yeah.
way, so it hit both courts.
Okay.
Because right now the lights, the backboards are shadows
Yeah,
because the
they
light's
do,
behind
yeah.
it. at
We
night.
can have those adjusted again too, so REMC came out and adjusted them when we asked them to, what was that, a year ago? They came out the next morning, so if we want, they said, let them know. A friend of mine's director of operations down there, and he's like, if you need anything else done with them, let us know. So if we want to tell them, angle it this way or that way, he can get somebody right out and do it. But that won't fix the whole problem, but it might
Right.
be a stopgap.
How, I mean, are they,
I don't,
would they get hit if they're moved, like, would they reach if they swung them out over in front of the goal? I mean, I don't remember what it looks like,
I'd have to
but,
take- They're on arm,
Think
but
Right.
I don't know how
but
far out.
do they point toward the goal now, or are they kind of off to the
I
side?
think they're kind of cantilevered, if I'm thinking of it correctly.
Remember, maybe down there at night time, I don't know.
I forget how they're positioned, but I went down there at night after they reported it to me, and it's right. So when you're down there at night, the ball goes, it's like they're backlit,
Yeah,
and it's a shadow
it's
on
hard
the
to,
front.
right.
So
Uh,
I don't know if that one pole's gonna cost $5,000 to put in or what, but
We've been talking about basketball lighting since I moved back to Indiana.
what do we do in Indiana? We play basketball.
Well, I mean,
I usually make them blindfolded, so I don't need the light.
if the,
Anyway, so
if the wiring's there, I mean, before,
That would be, yeah, to have one
That
like
would-
that right in the middle.
that would definitely help.
nice.
it'd make it better down there. I mean, I don't know before somebody forgets it's there or you know, knows, you know, if it's an easy fix, I don't.
Yeah.
Or
once I
can
don't-
that light be moved to that space?
The existing,
Mhm.
well, there's two, I think
They're-
there's one on each end.
yeah, they're where they need to be there. That
Yeah.
I don't know why that was never done originally,
Yeah.
because it was wired in. Unless they decided, well, we just go with this lighting. And
Yeah,
they cut that out of the plan. I don't know what it shaved off the price, but the old park board at that time just said, hey, we'll just sacrifice that. We'll light the court with what we got.
Who would we talk to about getting another pole put in there?
I think we just have to find somebody that does that style of pole and call them and say, what's it cost? I don't know if it's an electric company, probably, would be the people I'd go after. And to me, it'd almost be find it, locate it, cut out a square, concrete it back in when you get done,
Right.
so you can anchor that center pole into something.
Right.
I would be interested in having, if Robert wouldn't mind reaching out to his connection RMC, because what I've been told multiple times is that there's nothing in the middle, because it was approached to RMC when they were doing the lights and they said they would not do it in the middle. So I would want to see if that is true, or if there's a reason, any reason as to why they wouldn't have done it in the first place, or they'd be able to.
I'm just going off what the tribal knowledge or less had given me.
Yeah.
He said
And
it
the
was wired
drawings,
for it and it was
'cause
removed from the
drawings
plan.
for the basketball court showed it, that it was
Yeah.
installed.
I know it showed it was installed, but I've been told multiple times that it was never, like, they had it set to run, but there was never anything actually ran to it.
Hmm.
Because it was backed off, and RMC said it would be better to do it the way they were.
More evidence.
So is there conduit in the ground with just no wire, or?
That'd be weird.
Um,
They just
Yeah.
put the conduit there and not run it.
Right.
I asked go out just because, I mean, the Corps being named after Troy and all that, I know Jessica's family and all of us have it, and Paul has been always very, because I guess Paul and Les have had multiple discussions about that middle
Yeah.
wiring, and Paul is adamant, and the RMC had told him that they could not do it. But Les always says that it's there and that they could do it.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just kind of cut out middleman and just be like, ask them if that is the possibility, and if we can do it. I mean, I think it'd be better. I mean, that's been the complaint that I know since the courts got redone, is the lighting has been bad. So,
Would guy you know down there know that?
I don't know, cause we might be getting into, that's a
Yeah.
private, I mean, that's a blueprint to a
Right.
private,
yeah.
so I don't
We
know
could
how.
pull, do you have those, know about where
I
those
know.
prints might be?
I know we had pulled him out of the room over here, so, but Faith has the file room key,
Well,
so.
I mean, if it comes right down to it, if that's what we need, how much is it to dig a channel? I mean, if you're gonna dig in a hole in the middle of it, I mean, you know, what are we talking an extra?
I think it takes care of the issue. If the conduit in the box is there, as Les says, even if there's not wire pull, but there's conduit.
I'll say if the
they-
conduit's there,
trace
that's
it.
a major,
Yeah.
Then they should be
Hey,
able to
there.
intersect that somewhere back where it makes
Yeah.
the circuit
Mhm.
around it
Yeah.
and be able to tie in, pull wire and be done, but
But if there's not, we can cut a channel, it's not like,
Yeah.
it's not a huge undertaking.
cut a channel,
Yeah.
put it in there,
Yeah,
we can asphalt it back in
Yeah.
later.
So either way, we can get it done.
Yep.
I'll ask my buddy if he has any way to, I would be surprised if they have that kind of stuff on file, but maybe, who knows, maybe.
I wouldn't expect to have it on file, but if we have a print that shows it, and if we can figure it out, I mean,
Yeah.
I doubt they're
See if
gonna
he
say,
can pull
yeah,
the
we got the
print, yeah.
detail of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would surprise me.
But we should had an as-built that
Right.
would have shown us whether it's there or not.
Yeah, I've learned not to trust those really well, but if it shows it there, then we can say, hey. this
It's the
is-
worst
yeah.
thing in all my years in business and everywhere was getting as-built. I don't know that we got a clear as-built from the amphitheater yet.
No, I've asked 3 times.
So, you know, those are the things that help us 20 years from now when some of us aren't here breathing and
Mhm.
we're trying to remember it.
That's what I'm doing, trying to figure out stuff that was way before me that you know that I'm now dealing with. And Filippo in center of basketball court.
Steve, were you thinking like almost like a tree, like a light tree in the middle that, you know, maybe has 4 branches, arms, whatever?
4 or 2, whatever's
Well,
necessary, but we
it-
thought about at least 2,
Yeah.
because that would just cast down and through the centers and should illuminate the goals that way.
Just a couple of floods.
Yeah.
Light up the whole court that way.
And again, I go back to that was Les's push early on. He said, I'd really like to get this done, he said, because of this reason.
Well, it gets used. I mean,
Oh, it
kids-
gets used,
Kids are
yeah.
using it, so.
People are using the court. It's a nice court.
It is a
We're
nice
there.
Well, it's the double rims, yeah. Cool.
What I was thinking. I'll go ahead and contact that sheet for that reason.
And
Right.
shoot in my own backyard.
I don't like that.
I mean, there's about 17 washers holding the rim
I
up.
feel like I don't have it written down. I feel like there's something I'm missing.
So the park sign styles and placements.
Oh yeah. The sign stuff. How many people did you send that email to? Just me or?
No, I sent it to a lot of people.
All right.
The signs.
Yeah. What are you guys thinking on the? I mean, I personally would rather see kind of a uniformity down there to have all our signage and stuff look the same. I'm also not in the majority on this, but I think there's too many signs.
Right.
You know, need to be more. You know, you post it and the rules are known. You know, you don't need a sign every 50 feet telling you the same thing.
No.
So, and I think the signs on Haywood were just going to be speed limit signs, and then like no parking. Is that just at the entrances? Is that where they're going? Are they going to be on the gates or out on the post, or does that matter? And they're all going to be metal reflective signs? Is that?
This would be the same thing, sitting here as a council person, I'd like you guys to make that recommendation. Where should the signage be? What type of signage? The thing that we talked about as a council is, we think it's best if we come up with a sign standard.
Right.
Okay, and so we're gonna know the sizes, the fonts, and colors, and all that design is gonna be there.
Right.
We're gonna have it for perpetuity the same way.
Right.
And every sign that's made, if you guys say we need this sign, it's gonna look like that. It's gonna
Right.
look very uniform across it. 'Cause like Brendan sent that picture out, we've got 5, 6, 7 different sign styles, and we were getting ready to add another style.
Mhm.
And I think that it's important for uniformity.
And
So-
what we can enforce as the police department.
Right.
And it's the same thing that the council's asking the police officers to give us an idea of what other signage we need along our city streets and things like that. Again, we don't want to litter our streets with signage, but where do we need the right signs saying the right message to make sure that it's clear for enforcement? So,
Well, speed limit's easy, because that's in UTC, that has to be what it is.
yep,
So the question's where on that one.
yep.
Beginning and end of, well, If we put one at the beginning of Haywood, at Main and Haywood, that's a no-brainer. Where does it go on the other side, on the east side? You know, do we wanna put it right where the park begins, past the houses?
Yeah.
That would be my opinion.
That's
Right where you.
what I would
put it.
think, yeah.
And then, do we want anything in the middle? Cause
Why?
the only
You're
question.
posting the speed limit for that road, that's,
And you use those as combo signs.
Yeah,
Here's a speed limit, no
Right.
parking along road
right,
there, and then as soon as you turn on Haywood from East Main,
yeah.
and then the signs on they're made for the gates.
okay,
are
so
very
as long as
clear.
that's, I was gonna ask if that's still in the works
Do
or
not
staying.
block traffic.
Yeah,
Cause that's the
Do not
biggest
block.
thing, I'm always chasing people away from
yeah.
being parked over there, so.
Well, and if we don't post it, then it's.
Right, exactly,
Everybody assumes it's okay,
yep.
because they see other people doing it too. So,
But that should I would think that'd be enough, one on each end of the park and have them at the gates of the pullouts.
yeah. But I would try to look at this sign thing holistically, and you guys put your heads together, walk it, talk it, and say, here's what we need. And even if we have to buy all new signage, or if we like one group of signage that's all good, I would say, let's discuss that and whatever your recommendation is.
How do you guys feel about maybe when we're doing our post-hole
I was,
project?
that's just what I was getting ready to say. What if we,
do a walk-
while we got everybody there,
a walk
take a
around?
walk and see, you know,
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna be too late. I mean,
And I think it'd be a good park enhancement to consider marking on the pavement distances of walking.
Oh, yeah, that would be really good.
We've been walking a bit, just about walk my legs off, but you know, that's one thing, when we hit the park, be, how long is this? I used to have my running watch when I ran down there, I could tell you everything, but I ain't that smart to remember. But you know, if we have starting points and some things, then I think that would add an enhancement,
mhm.
but it would be on the pavement.
Right.
Mark the eighth of a mile or whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Kind of like what Salem did with their walking trail, and they did like the stones on the side.
Yep,
Yeah.
same kind of, and if that's a better concept,
It's a little discouraging sometimes when you start out, when you're like, man, I went solo, and then you look, and it's like, oh.
30 feet?
Man.
Man.
Yeah.
Man.
You went the wrong.
I walk a mile every day. No, that's just a half a mile.
It says I'm going
You
backwards.
go like the police academy or something? Man, come on.
I think it'd be kind of cool on the pavement, because
I
then
do.
if you're walking on the pavement, but like creating more things for them to weed eat around
Mhm.
too is
Yeah.
hard. So on the pavement would be kind of cool. Yeah.
Well, you could bury a stone where they don't.
I'd say it to be
around it.
flat and just be
Yeah.
off to the side like you're saying.
Yeah.
If you do paint, I'm sure
I've
it'll
seen
wear
that
off, you have to
before.
repaint it.
Or if you do the Rudy method, you weed eat once and spray it the rest of the time, you never have to weed eat again.
One way to get by.
Kind of like a medallion, you could hammer it
Yeah.
into the.
So I won't be there the 16th because I have a family reunion in Indy. So, but I mean, if you guys want to like take a picture of the sign, somebody take notes and say, hey, this is what, you know, that would help me with, you know, help the planning process.
It'd probably be a good idea for us to include the hours on something too.
Yeah.
Because we said that last year.
Yeah.
People do ask.
I was gonna say, I know one thing we talked about was revamping that sign by 60.
The main one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we revamp
That's
that?
come up, I mean, it's been cleaned up. We took the bushes out.
Oh, well, I just remember we had talked about like painting it.
Oh, they got painted. They got re-landscaped.
I know we got re-landscaped, I was kind of,
Like that with the, yeah, what happened.
I think Kathy was going to paint that,
Yeah, I don't know where that.
but yeah.
Because I think we approved it.
I
yeah,
think so too.
no, I remember we approved it.
Yeah.
Cause I was talking
Should be
about it with
like-
somebody and I was like, oh yeah, we did. And I was like, I actually don't know if we actually did that or not. Only reason I was thinking was cause like looking at the thing that Brenna sent, and I know we can talk about this more on 16, but I was like, I mean, traditional, like whenever you go to a park, you see those big, long wooden signs. I'm not saying they gotta be the green whatever, like what Les wanted. And it was fighting with us on, but like if it was like, if we did like the red and white, like I think we had talked about doing the main one, make it stand out and pop more. You know, kind of keeping some of those and making all the new signs look sort of like that wooden with stuff on, or doing like the new playground sign with that light wood kind of look. I think that looks nice and kind of brings us into the next.
I think even unless it's a certain, well, state parks don't, I mean, they all get their same funding, but a lot of places are doing away with those brown
Yeah.
wooden signs because they're too much maintenance to them.
Yeah.
Well, they're not enforceable.
They rot and you got to repaint them, and you get, it's just, and it's not an official looking sign.
Right.
To put something on there like a speed limit or something, you couldn't enforce it.
No.
So I mean, you can put the name of the park on there, but then there again, it's something
Yeah.
different than the
It's a
rest of it.
different sign.
So yeah, we can take a look at it down there on the 16th. Everybody, well, we have a little powwow while everybody's there.
At 8 a.m.
7 if you want.
I'm not gonna listen.
Put 2 cups of coffee in, we're good to go.
If I'm not there at 8, I'm still over here at the diner waiting for Jack to get done with his breakfast. So anything else?
I got a couple things that I've been working on that affect you. I'm just getting some numbers. Noah Cutter is going to give us a quote about putting trees on the east and west side of the amphitheater. I know the shade sail is an interim idea, and that would cover obviously the south side. But to build future some trees that are going to grow and provide natural shade for that evening sun, because most of our activities are in the evening on that stage. It was funny when the people were there this week, they even made a comment while they were on the stage about how hot they were. It is, that's brutal with that, but we think if we can grow some nice shade trees along there and start that growth now. He's looking and giving a quote to use the trees that are back by the Lions Club trees, back by the sewer plant, which is the white oaks. I think we're quickly learning that it's probably the most expensive venture than just buying a new tree that's already bald and comes with a warranty, and putting that in there about the same size. But I'm waiting on quotes to see what this is all gonna be, and I'll share it with you. But I'm thinking like, Brian, you had placed the flags, and they kind of spray out from the front of the amphitheater, not straight out there. And to have a tree line on each side that would be equal, that would look and give some uniformity in that is kind of what he's quoting, so. As soon as I get all that, I'll share with all you guys, just like the net quotes. I was waiting to get everything instead of piecemealing it in emails. And just say, hey, there's
How many were you thinking?
6 or 8 on each side.
So basically kind of going from the corners of the theater to the flagpoles or something along those lines?
Probably going from the front middle of the amphitheater and spraying out to the flagpoles, but they would be out from it, so you're not having the problem with trees being on top of the flagpole. So the position of them is kind of still the question. It's just the idea is putting 6 or 8 in a line spaced out. It would provide number one shade for the amphitheater, but also shade for the visitors
Yeah.
underneath that throughout the day and stuff.
The concert promoter in me would ask if we ever were thinking about some point in the future trying to do a big name act where we try to get 8 or 10,000 people, which we could do.
Mhm.
I mean, it would pack out that whole south park, but you're gonna need to fan out your side. I mean, you're gonna have to basically be 180 around that theater, so you would somewhat be closing yourself off to that possibility.
Yeah, I think it's, yeah, and I think that we have other confining things with restrooms, locations, some other things that also confine that probably a little bit.
Sound right.
But anyway, the position and all that, we're just getting an idea of what it is. The actual placement and the final idea will be.
I like the idea of it. I'm just thinking,
Oh, I know what you're
long term,
saying. Yeah, it
we
could cut
ever
off
wanna
the
do
visual
that.
from that. But I think that if we manage those trees well and keep their
I'll say
canopy
they'd be
high,
up,
keep them up nice and
keep
high.
the
so
canopy
it's
high. You'd be able to
yeah.
sit behind them and still.
Yeah.
people could be back, 8 or 10, 12 feet beyond that, and these would be that. I still think we get several thousand people in there for a concert, which
I'm
I'm
envisioning us like, let's bring in Lee Greenwood or something sometime and do it.
I think that I like the idea of the other extra programming that Dave's talking about, any other thing we can do. I mean, that thing is a revenue generator. It's also something that helps the revenue of the town. It helps the revenue of the local economy. And it really makes Borden more of a centerpiece for visitors, just like this idea this would. I think there's just a lot of reasons to do it. And we still get to stay small. We just have the ability to expand for a day, like we do a Strawberry Festival. And we come back to our 800-person town, so. The other thing that I was talking about with Rudy is, you know, the guys have a hard time mowing under all the picnic tables. And Dan had mentioned getting a growth retarder spraying under them and things like that to keep the grass from growing. I'll just say I like my idea best, and that's to create a 8-foot band of gravel from flag to flag, and an 8-foot wide swath of that. Dig down, create a footer, and put them on there. And then all we have to do is spray it every once in a while. We can put our short stands in there, as well as picnic tables. The guys can mow around and keep it looking nice. And so that's an idea that I think you guys might want to consider as well.
Down in Ashland Park along the riverfront on the back of our new playground, I dug a spot out. I think I went 12 foot wide and like, I don't remember how long it is, like 60 feet, maybe. I don't know. I got 3 new tables, and I dug the sod out, put a bed of gravel in there, and then put ag lime on top of it and packed it down, and then set them tables on there, and it's almost like concrete down through there, and it's easy to maintain.
That's a
If we do something like that, you know, pole to pole, because that's where everybody's sitting anyway.
Yeah.
Between the flags, put a strip wide enough that the tables can sit there and everybody can get around the table with wheelchairs and everything, because that's what I done it for, was because it packs down like concrete.
Right.
You can wheel wheelchairs all the way around them. And, you know, they come out of the grass, and you know they can go anywhere they want to on that,
Right.
off the sidewalk there. But you know, if we did that there, they could get all around the picnic table, regardless of which, you know, make it a little wider if you want to set the picnic tables long way to the stage, you know,
And that's the way
pointing at the
it
stage.
should be.
Yeah, because somebody's always going to have their back to it if you don't.
Right.
So,
I try to explain that to Dan.
well,
I appreciate all the work he does in our part.
yeah, he does. But I have no problem with that.
And I think it's
that's a
two
good
things.
idea.
If 8 foot's not enough, if it's 10 or 12 is
Well,
better.
if you turn the tables the other way, it would have to be a little bit wider,
Yeah.
because there's 6 foot tables, right?
Yeah.
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 You need 4 foot. You need about 14 feet. You know, if you're gonna make it accessible to everybody. I mean,
I think it'd be the best thing to do, though, my opinion.
yeah.
But you guys can decide what you want to do
What do you
with
think
that.
that costs, Brian?
Oh, whoever the materials. I mean, it's nothing. It doesn't cost much. Just a matter of being able to move it. You know, dumping it in there with a dump truck and spreading it out,
Spreading it. Well, we can
and
spread
packing it
with the
down. I
tractor
mean, that's
mostly.
yeah. Pack it. You can spread it out with a tractor and
Yeah.
pack it down with a tractor. Once it rains on it a couple times, it's packed down. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Well, the other thing is, if we decide to do this, Billy's out there filling, he's got
Yeah.
equipment, he can
Yeah.
dig it out
Do
for
that
us
too.
and start filling
Yeah.
with what he's bringing in,
yeah.
bringing extra load, because what we talked about is take those big concrete blocks. I wish I knew their real names. It's a big one.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Everybody knows what it is,
Yeah.
but nobody
Yeah.
knows what that name
Yeah.
is. But putting that down in there, throwing some shot rock, and then building the rest of it with
Mhm.
riprap, and that should hold the base of it to kind of
Mhm.
contain it. And what I'd share with Brenna is there's 2 spots on the south side that need help, and there's actually a side on the north side of the creek that's almost probably worse than those 2. We were walking the path the other day, and I got a picture of it I can send around, but it's really eaten into there, and it's closer to the trail than it is on the other side. So it needs some love in there too.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I was gonna talk to Micah once all this
Right.
comes down.
Yeah. Wait till the
cantaloupes
cantaloupes are done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Can we circle back real quick too, just to the foul pole or the netting thing? Because if we are gonna take care of that, we probably need to get it done this fall before, so it's done before season, right? I mean,
well, what I've told the vendors is it don't have to be done right away. It just has to be done before March 1st.
yeah.
And that safely gets everything done before then. it gives us space, but I told him I'd rather get it done for the end of the year so it could just be in this budgeting. So as we're wading through budgeting, we don't have to worry about adding something for that.
Because I think that 24,000 is about right in line with what we thought it was probably gonna, with the discussion we had at the last meeting, somewhere between 20 and 35 is what Brian came up with. So.
Hoping land's come back about $8,000 or $10,000 cheaper is what they typically have on everything.
Typically they do, yeah.
So
But-
I'm hoping we're close to 15 to 18 on it, and then that way we can get a quick approval and then just tell them get to it. So,
Awesome.
and if it's done this fall, then it's done. So.
Cool.
What do you guys think of that star hinge?
Well, that's pretty cool. I'm sure that's years down the road, but I mean, I think that would be something if, the way he's talking, if, you know, you got some giant sculpture like that and people would come from around to look at that. Bring people in for sure.
Well, I think it would definitely draw people in.
Yeah.
Just-
I mean, driving around seeing the things we saw, little things like that, I mean, that's all you need, just one little thing to bring somebody in and.
Well,
Oh,
then they have lunch here. Or they,
Exactly.
you know,
I'm gonna stop in the diner and get something to eat. I'm gonna ride this trail. This trail looks kinda cool.
Yeah.
Go down the track.
I think in the company we're in this room, I'll just speak frank with you guys on me. I would want to be careful about not leaning too heavily into the celestial pagan side. Like if there's some way we could, the Christian in me kind of bristles at that a little bit. Just
Things that
speaking
bristle
about.
on how old the earth was, how it dropped.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe if we can brand it as a prayer circle or I don't know. I think it's a cool concept, but I think we need to be mindful of, because I think most of the people that live around here were cooked the same way we are, so that might be something we want to be
Yeah.
thoughtful about. It's not
We
leaning
wanna be more,
too.
inclusive, not exclusive, or,
Well, there's new terminology. You see, scientists, it starts with scientists believe.
Yeah. When
So,
I see
and
when I
like
see
you
that,
said-
I usually know it's some made up bull crap.
Well, you just know that they have some theory that's abstractive fact, and you know it's something that's still taught in our schools. Our teachers teach it because they're told to.
When you
So-
see something that says scientists believe, it means they started with a conclusion and then went out to find facts in support of it. That's usually what that means.
Shoot the arrow, then paint the target.
Exactly. But that's why I think it's like the promoter mind in me is like, man, that's awesome. That's cute. Bring people to town, but it's like,
Right.
I mean, it itself could create a festival in
Yeah.
a year.
You're right.
You know, it's say if you have that sculpture 12 foot tall in the middle of it, and people see this, and it's related to the solstice, something that we all can understand.
If you could pull the Empire Quarry in somehow with Bedford Stone and all that, maybe they would, you know, if you had their name there, you know, maybe they would cut us a deal on the stone.
Well,
See
the
what you
cool
did there.
thing is with David Ruttman, I mean, he's influential. I mean, he's a county surveyor, and he's so influential with all his works and everything he's done. He's got
he's
his-
a super neat
I've
guy.
been sitting here thinking this whole time, he sets that bottle up for it, it did.
Well, he has a lot of connections,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's gotten,
Right.
he's gotten grants
Which,
from
He
us.
gets stuff. That's kind of where I was trying to push him.
Yeah.
Was like, do you know the people that could help
Yeah,
us get
yeah,
this?
which he does,
Yeah.
which he said he would help me get connected with.
Cook Ogle and Lily are big dollars each.
Mhm.
Well, if you're talking about something of that scale, you can attract a different level of interest.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Even higher.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, I think that we ought to. I think, my opinion is we should chase it until we get a no. Like it's that we're unable to fund it, kind of like our event center at this point, but. But we got to chase until we get a big no and see what it happens. At least to try to develop it. I mean, he's willing to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's given of himself, so
Yeah,
it's pretty cool, I think.
it's pretty neat.
So for clarification, that there, cause you made a comment about how you'd want something to represent like the first people. Does he just mean the first people in general to the US or the first people?
That's kind of where he's leaning. It sounds
First
like.
family.
The first, that's what I was kind of thinking. And I think that's super cool that he has done that. And But I think for Borden, like, to me in my mind, like I love the history of stuff. Like I went up north for Frankfurt, Indiana's hot dog festival this last weekend that my grandpa runs. And we stopped in at the Arnie's Pizza, that's one of the original locations. And then I go and look and my dad goes, "Oh hey, have you ever seen this picture here?" And it was my great grandfather's barber shop that was there from the original theater that Frankfurt had. That was like their big thing. And I was like, no, I never knew my grandpa's like great grandpa's shop and stuff. So like to me in my mind, you know, having those places that have the history that mean more, I mean, Borden has a very rich history. I would almost be more interested in, well, if we did like the first family or the founding people of Borden as that big statue in the middle that acts as that focal point for something that draws in, you know. I mean, I know the first family that came to, like, and settled in the U.S. and all that is very cool as well, but, I mean, I think there'd be something more to help tell the town history and expose Borden more. That's just where my mind goes.
Well, he had even mentioned this afternoon, I don't think he mentioned it here, but like the rocks that go around in the circle could help represent the history of Borden too.
Yeah.
So, and he could carve some of those rocks into the history, so.
That'd be my biggest thing. I just want to make sure we have more of our history posted. I mean, Jessica's on this Whatnot online auction app thing. Somebody had a like old milk crate thing that said Borden. She's like, "Oh, I'm from Borden." That girl's like, "Oh, girl, I'll send it to you." And so she got one of those like piece of that crate thing. I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. How much did you pay first off?" But no.
Yeah.
Yeah, Borden didn't have anything to do with it.
Right, yeah, I've got a lot of Borden milk crates
Yeah.
myself, but.
Well, that's why Jessica was like, "Oh, that's cool." You know, the milk crate it says Borden. We're from Borden. You know.
It's a cool deal. I've seen those.
That's-
It's cool.
I think this needs to be an arrowhead.
It is.
It is on the
It is.
back.
Well, it's,
The back.
I think it needs to look more like an
I
arrowhead.
know, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
Not
realize
a
that
feather,
until
until you turn it around and you
you
can see
turned
it
around. I
more.
was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. It's supposed to be an arrowhead."
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either.
He's got a mini museum in his shop. It's pretty cool.
But I do agree with Christian, like, that's a good point. I don't think that represents Borden, and I agree with that. That
It's a
doesn't
cool
mean
statue.
bad,
It's a
Oh,
cool
yeah,
piece.
but
Their-
I don't
the
think
arrowhead
it- I
does.
just don't-
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying the people. I don't
Yeah.
think, I think that he's right. I think it,
Like if that was going, if that was going in DC or
yes,
somewhere like that's awesome. I would
yeah, I agree.
definitely look,
So
but like
what's the single most defining trait about Borden? If you're gonna make something that's 12 feet tall, what is it?
I don't know. I don't know if it'd be Doc Stalker. I don't know. Like he said, William W. Borden.
or
I don't-
maybe it's a collection of it and it's
Yeah,
a thing together.
yeah. A giant strawberry? I don't know.
You've read the
I don't do
book,
history. I don't do
Earlywood
history stuff.
Township. And it's an interesting book, so you start thinking about that, there's this little pamphlet, everybody familiar with it? It's called Earlywood Township. It's basically the base history of our town.
I've never seen it.
It's a small pamphlet. It was written by a guy who's buried over here. He's a Gibson. So his Gibson family was one of the original families. But he's buried, John Linza, Linza Gibson. So he's buried over here on Walnut Hill. He died in the 60s, I think, is when he died, and he wrote this book. But it goes back, you know, you had the Wood family, Wood Township. They got a cemetery there along the road that's back behind the houses. And then you had the Haywood family, which is on that property that we now own, where the Haywood barn and everything was. And then you had Gibsons, and then, but, you know, those were there, and then Borden came, and, you know, really, you know, so things started really going. So there's, that book is so full of threads of history. There's glacial rock boulders east of Dean Lake, and I'd really like to find those. But he calls them out in the book, and there's a fellow named Bert Kelly that is a character I'd like to find out more. I got to sit down with Tony Akers and try to sort through some of all this. Some of them probably won't be able to. There's a place called Hominy Hole. It's a hollow ahead to the Glen Cooley property. I mean, there's Alum Cave. That's actually where they found alum.
That's
somewhere
back
here.
behind where my little cabin is.
Is it?
By top of the rock. Yep. There's that holler, if you go all the way back to the back of that holler.
Hound's Leap's supposed to be back in there. I mean, it's so interesting. I just took some notes about everything going on. But I think those are the things, to your point. How do we wrap that into this?
Well, I mean, that's like, as Jessica and I have been going through this process of converting Troy and Missy's house into our house, we found stuff from Rudy and Helen where like there was a business record book from the early 1800s. You know, we're trying to figure out like what all that is, and I've seen all these old photos. I'm like, where is this at? And this like to me, it's always cool. Like Salem, like that's one of the things where like
the John Hay Center's got all
like
that stuff.
Salem has such a rich history, and it never really got talked or brought up that much in school. And it was like barely really driven into the students and stuff. But there's no like activities for us to go do, and, you know. And so it's like not being a Bordenite, not born and raised here. You know, I see and I hear everything from Paul and Angie, from, you know, Max and Sue Uli, from everybody on how all this came. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, how? You mean tell me this was there? I was like, in Borden? I was like, I thought it was a caution light that would blow through, not blow through, at a respectable speed limit.
Yeah. I know
When I was
what
getting
you're
off
saying.
work at Cutters at 1 a.m., you know. But, you know, like I never realized Borden was this rich history. And, you know, and to many people, it's just they bypass, blow through, never give it to, like, they see Hometown Express and they go, that's sketchy, I'm not stopping there. Kind of thing. They're like, I'll wait till Pekin or somewhere else to get gas. Kind of thing, you know. I just think the more we can do to bring out that history, make it alive.
Yeah, something that, if we're gonna do something like that, and make a centerpiece of something that, you gotta have a combination of I like local appeal, but also global.
Yeah.
Something that says both somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but
National.
Well, to your point, if we could get some tie into the regionalism and pull in, you know, part of the history of where the stone's from, then it gives them
I
some
mean, that place is
buy-in.
cool. We went up, we found that cemetery and
Yep. It's a
you can go right through that gate. There's a little gate step over. I mean, that's where they filmed Breaking Away.
Yeah.
You know, it jumps off into the quarry. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
If you're ever out of
I
town,
wonder if they'd be willing to.
Breaking
donate.
Away.
Hmm.
It's about below 500.
Oh, that's
IU. It's an IU
yeah,
thing.
I want.
It's tame now.
Right.
I was going there when they were flipping cars over and burning things.
I mean, you can still see the car down in there.
Oh,
There's
that
a car, yeah. You
that
see
one.
a car down in there. Oh, you meant IU.
Yeah. Little
There's a
Five
car in
was
the
the
cor- oh,
partiest
yeah.
weekend of time.
That
so.
place, that was madness. That was fun though.
All right. Anything else that we need to discuss at this meeting?
Motion to dismiss? Or?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming.